So here we are, last Sunday of Epiphany. It is it. Get your alleluias out because after this we're going to have some silence and no alleluias for a while, right? So how does the church end Epiphany? How does it end this season of aha moments? This season of when Jesus is revealed to us as God's Son, as God incarnate, as our Messiah. How does it end the season? Year after year after year after year, the church has ended Epiphany with the Transfiguration. And the Transfiguration is like, what is it? What is this all about? What does this mean, right? Well, I'm here to tell you, I have no final word on it myself either. So let us journey together in this experience and experiment called Christianity and the work of being a good disciple. So here's what I have to say this morning, is that in this last story, at this time, the season of Epiphany, because there's lots of aha moments that the church has shared with us, and we have had aha moments of when we say, oh, here's Jesus, right? So it's not the end all, but this is the one that we end with for the season. And let's just pay attention to what is happening in the mountain. But I'm going to go back a little. Before we talk about what happens on the mountain, I want to talk to you about what happens right before, actually 6 days before this event. 6 days before this event, Peter proclaims Jesus as the Messiah. Jesus says, "Great, good, Peter. You're right on that. But let me tell you a little bit about what the Messiah is," and predicts his death, right? So right before, Peter proclaims Jesus as the Messiah, and Jesus says to Peter, and the Messiah is going to suffer and have to die. And by the way, I'm inviting you all to take your cross and follow me too. That happened 6 days before the Transfiguration. And so now we are here with Peter again, and this event happens. First thing that happens is that Jesus gets transfigured, and this light, his garments just radiate with whiteness. And then we see Moses and Elijah with Jesus. And it's not like just they were like figures. They weren't just like standing there. Because the text says Moses and Elijah were talking to Jesus. I'd missed that before. So there's actually a conversation between Moses, Jesus, and Elijah. And I'm really curious, what did they say to Jesus? What were they saying to him? Maybe it was, we just heard you tell your disciples that you're going to suffer and you're going to die. And we just want you to know that we're with you. We want you to know that you're not alone in this journey. You've got people who've gone before, faithful people of God, who have walked this path too, and we're with you. Maybe that's what they said. And then after that happens, Peter, doesn't know what to do. This is amazing event happens before him where he sees this shining garments. He sees Elijah and Moses, and he's like, oh my, now what? I know, let's just stay here. Maybe we've got all the good people here together in the mountain. Let's just stay here and let's just forget everything else, right? Because it's kind of comforting, maybe terrifying and maybe comforting. But as he says this and he's thinking, let's just stay, the voice comes. So then we hear God's voice saying to the people around there, "This is my son, the beloved. Listen to him." Right? And in some ways, it's almost like full circle. Because in the Gospel of Mark, the first aha moment about who Jesus is is at Jesus' baptism. Jesus comes out of the water. He's nice and clean, right? And what do we hear? You are my son, with whom I am well pleased. So first event of this aha moment is Jesus being told, you are my son, my beloved, with whom I'm pleased. And then we end Epiphany with God saying to the disciples, to the apostles, this is my son, the beloved. Listen to him. So here's how we start our Lent, by being asked to listen to Jesus. This is how we end the aha moments, by God once again reminding us that this is God's Son, God incarnate, the Messiah, whom we need to listen. If you had any doubts, any curiosity, any wonders, is this really who we should follow? He's saying at this moment on the mountain to his apostles, yes, this is the one. Follow him. He will teach you. He will show you. He will guide you. He will comfort you so that you may be able to find this new life, find this new comfort, find the courage and the strength to walk towards God, to live faithfully as God's people. And yes, it will not be easy for us either. It will be challenging and difficult. But we are not alone, right? We are not alone. We are also among these clouds of witnesses of people who've gone before us, who've shown us. And so that is how we end Epiphany, by being reminded of who God is, by God's self, and by being asked by God to listen to Jesus. And so during this time of Lent, as we are getting ready and preparing ourselves into this Lenten series, to really think about during this Lent, what do I need to listen better to Jesus? What do I need to listen to Jesus? How can I be able to tune myself in a better way, get on that right channel, the channel of Jesus, so that my ears can hear Jesus better? What does my heart need to soften a little so that I can let Jesus in fully? Make that space. What distractions keep me from making space for Jesus? I think that is a great way to end Epiphany, with that reflection. As we move into Lent, with that reflection, how can I listen to Jesus more clearly, so that I too can follow Jesus into that eternal kingdom that God has for each and every one of us? Amen.
Amen.